And might be a little delayed. Hello, welcome to Redefining Entrepreneurship, the truth behind why you're not as far along as you thought you'd be by now. I don't think we're live, so let's just give it a second here. It's not giving our little normal indicators that
we are live.
Actually, we are. It's just different. Okay. Yay for technology. Welcome. Happy Thursday.
Yay.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I am figuring out this. If anyone else uses Restream, tell you it. There's been a lot of changes, so I'm just getting used to them. Okay. So we can get started. Oh my God, I'm sorry. I feel like I did this last month because of technology. I feel like I need somebody here to just like manage the tech, like physically here under my desk. I don't know about you, but okay. Well, you I guess get to show up while I do all of these things. So
well, we wanted to this topic comes up a lot with folks that we talk to, folks that we work with. It's this confusion and frustration and feelings around, but I feel like I should be farther along than I am right now. I'm working super, super hard. I'm not seeing the results that I feel like I should be. I feel like I'm doing the right things, but I'm not getting to where I want to be. So there's a disconnect between the effort and the outcome that you're desiring. And so we kind of wanted to break this down into kind of the three main things that you can do when you're experiencing this, kind of what that is, and then the three main things you can do about it.
I mean, really like why it's happening a little bit, and then how to fix it. And I want to say too, like this isn't necessarily like this isn't a beginner kind of thing. This is like you've been making money, but you're just not as far along as you thought you'd be. And I know that this is something that, like you said, a lot of people that we work with have experienced, or that we've experienced ourselves, where it's kind of like you get to this like point of like fatigue almost in your business, where it's just like no matter what I do, it's just not enough. I'm making good money, but I can't make the amount that I want. I can't seem to like break free past this certain level, and I'm working all the time, like just doing so much. So yeah, I'm excited to talk about this.
I am too. It's a popular subject. It's coming up a lot for those multi-6, 7-figure business owners, and you're thinking, I should have it together by now. I should feel like I've accomplished more, right? But it's a common feeling that can come up. And we just kind of wanted to go over kind of why this is happening. So what kind of happens as you build your business, you go through and you're trying all these different strategies, and you're working with these different people to help you out, and you put these systems and these processes and these things in place, and you're working on things that you think you should, and they've worked for a while. But what happens is those all need to be revisited. They're not really in alignment with you and what you're trying to accomplish, or the life that you set out to have. And so really you need to kind of look and reassess now. It's kind of the old saying, what brought you where you are won't get you to where you want to be. It's kind of a good time to reassess those things. And so one big piece is kind of working with the wrong people. And this happens so much, definitely early in your journey, but even when you're farther in your journey, trying to reach at those straws of, well, I'm experiencing this, I'm experiencing, I need to up level my marketing. I need to up level my sales. My launches haven't gone as expected. I had 100 people before, I had 75 this time. I need to revamp everything. That may not be the right fix. That may not actually be the angle that you need to approach, or the angle that you need to go down. I'll let you weigh in a little bit on this, because I feel like I'm doing all of the talking.
Oh no, you're fine. You're fine. I think, this is kind of like a two-part, well, I mean, it's a three-part thing, right? Because there's three things that you can do, but like specifically what you're talking about, like I think like there's a lot that it's, well, I think we can tell you the three things that you're doing wrong, first, and then we'll go into each of those a little bit and what you can do instead. But so what we see happening, I think, is a few main things. You get to that certain level, like you said, right? And it's just not working the way it used to. Like I'll give my own example, and maybe you can give yours too. But I started out, I had a team, I had all my offers, like I had all of the things that I needed. And I expected it was just going to be kind of like smooth sailing. But then a year in, I wanted to change things. My team needed to change. I didn't necessarily have that recognition with Mara's help. I was able to see stuff that was actually a little more than a year into my business when we started working together. But, I needed something different. And I was spending, so a lot of the things, the right structure at the right time that's in alignment with who you are and what you need at that moment. But I also found that I was spending a lot of time on things that really didn't matter, that weren't moving the needle forward in my business. And this can happen no matter what level you're at, of course. But I was doing things that I could have easily had someone else do that I didn't actually need to do at that moment because I was caught up in the mix of things, right? And we'll go deeper into each one of these things. And I was caught up in so many things.
Yeah.
So I wasn't really spending my time in the right places. And the third thing, so not having the right structure around you for where you're at, spending time on things that don't matter. And then for so many people, working with the wrong people. And if you watch my content, you've probably been seeing me talking about this a bit more lately too. And it's not that like there's anything wrong with the people themselves. I just want to clarify that, but it's just like, again, just kind of like that structure, right? Or you've evolved beyond a certain point and the people that you were working with are no longer aligned for you. And again, we'll go into each of these a little bit deeper, but these are some key things that are happening right now in your world that are literally stopping you from growing and keeping you where you're at and keeping you having to work way more than you need to while making less than you should be. So we're going to talk a little bit about these things from that perspective, because if you do the things that we're recommending, of course, it's going to help you double, triple, even more potentially your income. And also more importantly for many of you, because you are making good money, is also free up your freaking time so that you can enjoy the money that you're making.
Yeah.
Because you can get into this to not enjoy it.
Exactly. Because here's the thing, all three of these things are connected. And what happens is as you grow and as you get to these levels, what you were supposed to be focusing on, where you're supposed to be spending your time, those that you worked with, the structure that needs to exist at the beginning or in early stages of your business are not the same as they should be now. Yeah. But we've gotten so used to doing it that way because it got us to where we are right now, right? But as you grow, as you do make more money, as you do become more successful or strive to build your vision, your role changes. So therefore, the people that you surround yourself with and that you work with need to change. The structure that you put around you needs to change, right? And where you spend your time needs to change. So they're all linked together, and that's what we wanted to go over with you. Again, it's the old adage of what got you where you are isn't going to take you forward, and that's why as we start our businesses, it's yes, we're doing everything. 80% of our time is out selling and marketing, and it's easy to get caught up in the nitty-gritty in the background and building our website and doing certain things and getting very distracted. We're past that point. Like we're way past that point. But our natural inclination is
to revert back,
to still dive in and do it, to still get into the nitty-gritty rather than stepping back as the leader, rather than putting yourself more in the CEO position and surrounding yourself with the people that can take your vision and then translate it into what needs to go in place. So you're not writing everything. Now, I'll caution when I say that. I think some should still be contributing their voice and things like that, but implementing your marketing, maybe that's a better way to say it. Implementing your marketing, posting on socials, and this is different for everybody where you need to spend your time, but building out websites or building sales funnels or setting up your CRMs, or you're down in the nitty-gritty back end of your business, but then you're frustrated because you don't have time. You don't have time for your friends and family. You don't have time for the life that you want to have, and you wonder why. Because you are now at a point that's not the role for you.
Yeah.
That's not where you should be spending your time. There are experts. In fact, I have a workshop coming up on this. You actually are costing yourself money when you sit there and tinker with your website and tinker with your sales funnel and go really deep into the nitty-gritty. Now, put a caveat in here. There are certain things that how certain people are built with their human design. We need to indulge some activities. Again, that's where the custom structure and custom setup of where you need to spend your time comes in place, that Lori and I can kind of help with. But you need to spend your time in a different place. You need to act more as the CEO rather than the doer.
Yeah. I'm going to interrupt if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I
damn
it. Yes. And I think I want to actually dial back because, again, we said there was kind of three things. And I think the structure, yes, is like obviously like super important. But I think if we actually maybe take it the other way first to get to that point, because I think what's happening for a lot of you is like you can't even you don't even know what that right structure is at this point, because there's so many of these other things happening. So I'm going to go back first to actually the working with the wrong people. One, because this one, if you're still working with the wrong people, you're not going to be able to put the right things and to know the things that really matter, because you're going to be clouded by some stuff. So I think that, go ahead.
No, I just want to interject because I'm gonna challenge the wrong people. I'm gonna say it's not the right people for where you are right now.
Well, that's what I need to explain, because that is what it is. See, she ruined my punchline. She is.
I'm sorry, I ruined the punchline. No, okay. I'm gonna hang on over here for that. I don't like the word wrong. You know I don't like the word wrong.
No, just kidding. But it is wrong. It's wrong for where you're at, but you also have to recognize that it is wrong. And the reason I think I use that word, and I use it pretty strongly, and I actually posted something the other day about like your clients suck, and that's the reason you're not making the money. And that was harsh. It's not that I think people suck or that people are wrong, but who you served when you started your business is not who you're serving now. And there's many reasons behind that. Usually it's because when you come in, you're not as confident in yourself and your abilities, your skills, and all of that. So you tend to gravitate towards people who, like you, aren't as far along in whatever they're doing, because they're not going to judge you as much. They're not going to expect as much from you or whatever. This is the story a lot of times that comes up. But as you evolve, you're going to find yourself not challenged by those people, possibly even frustrated or annoyed. And that is going to drain your energy. You're going to feel like you have to put in way more effort than you need to. And you're going to end up doing things that don't really matter. And you're going to spend a lot more time on things that don't matter because you're working with people who aren't actually right for your work. So for instance, I mean, there's lots of things that you can do that don't really matter per se, but like just as an example, when you work with a client who's maybe, I'm gonna do this from a coaching perspective, because that's obviously, I work with a lot of coaches and it's easy for me to wrap my head around, but this is really any service-based business, right? You bring in a client who is early on in, we'll say, their business, like as a business coach, right? And the problems, okay, hold on. What's going on? Can you see me? My camera's not going on and off. I have a weird thing popping up on my computer, right?
Oh yeah, we can see
My
you.
camera thing that keeps popping on and off. So like the signal. So I lost my train of thought there. Wrong people. I don't know. Oh my gosh, Mara.
Well, I'll interject a little bit that part of what happens as you grow, you evolve. So when you're starting,
that's what it was.
Like Lori was saying, you aren't as confident. You attract those maybe that are earlier. You're trying to embrace the let me just help everybody. You know, if I just help everybody, I'm going to build my business. And it's hard to niche down, right? It's hard to now. I have conflicting feelings about niching down, and it depends on how you do it. But the more you work with people, the more successful you become. That's actually then how you hone in on who you need to work with.
Yeah,
I think was more where you were going with that one. Potentially.
No, yes and no. Like you determine that, but it's going to completely change all the time, and it's like it can be in the moment. I mean, not like every day, but like you just realize that in going to your human design, like as generators, manifesting generators, you know, like the whole like if you're not living your design, right, and it's that frustration. You're going to feel that frustration. So if you're not working with someone who's aligned for you, and that could be at any point, honestly, in your business, that there's, I mean, because there might just be some people, some designs, right, that you feel extremely frustrated by and you're not going to work well with. So there's that. And then, yes, there's people, it's just like you're going to evolve. And, you know, a lot of times what happens is newbies, people who are starting out in their business, and this is, again, no, I was one, you were one, we were all one, but they're all over the place there. I want to serve everyone. I want to do everything. A lot of times there's still a lot of really like deep underlying self-worth issues and lack of confidence in people who are early on. And until they have that, again, they feel more confident into what you were saying and secure, and that they've done their business more, they're going to be a little all over the place. And for you, someone who's like very solid in your convictions and like where you need to be in your business, you want to work with people who are a little bit more like you and who are ready to dive in and do the work versus someone who's newer. A lot of times they're going to, because they are in those spaces, right, that I was just talking about in terms of their mindset and their beliefs about themselves, it's going to take them longer to do things. You're going to feel sometimes like you have to pull them along. They're going to make a lot of excuses potentially. And that's not just new, because there are some people who are brand new who are not going to be this way. You know, it is really a lot of like confidence in themselves and their skills and their ability to serve people. So as you evolve and you become more confident in yourself, though, you also, and I know you caught yourself on the messaging thing before earlier, because when you have really strong messaging, because you're really strong in your convictions and your confidence, you're going to attract people who are more confident as well. So the further along you are, the more likely you're going to be, when you have the right messaging, at least, to attract those people who are further along.
And it really, but it also, I will add a caveat here, because it depends on who you're trying to serve as well. That could, it is definitely true for more your one-on-one folks. If you do have group programs, it's going to be fitting for your group programs as well. But you may have courses, you may have those that serve those earlier in their journey that aren't maybe as confident, that aren't maybe, it's meeting those people where they are, but where you're spending a lot of your time could be with one-on-one folks, where you're going to be a little bit more discerning. So I will add a little bit of a caveat there, that your offerings could evolve.
Yeah, absolutely. So your close proximity spaces, because if someone buys your course and they're, you know, like someone that you might find frustrating to work with one-on-one or in a group setting, you're not going to interact with them. So that's not going to really impact. So you can still help people, but if you have I'm talking more in your close proximity world, if you are working with people who take a lot of energy from you, a lot of effort to work with, that's going to drain you. You're going to overwork. And then you're also going to probably not be spending your time on the right things because you're going to just be trying to serve. That was the whole point, I think, of what I was trying to do with that, because you're going to be trying to serve those people, right? And do things that you wouldn't need to do if you were working with the people who were actually right. And you're going to have that clarity when you have the right people in your world. So it literally sets off everything around you. And then it's because then your business is also you're going to know how it should be because you're working with the right people. So then you're going to also be able to better assess what you actually need to do, and then the structure that comes in around you.
Right. Because depending on how you need to serve those folks, again, if your product offerings evolve to accommodate different folks, to differ where you're spending your time, the structure in your business needs to evolve. Where you're spending your time and what you're doing needs to evolve. The people that you have working on your team or resources that you're relying on need to evolve based on the clarity that comes of who you're working with and how you're serving them evolves. So it is all kind of triggered on making sure you're working with the right people and not being as triggered off of ups and downs in your business and other energetics and things that need to be assessed as you grow. Because that's a whole nother thing. Your energetics and childhood traumas and things that come out of absolute nowhere can also affect how you're feeling about where you are, and can prevent you 100% from getting where you need to be. But getting really clear on who you're working with, how you're serving them, confident in that, being able to speak directly to them and being okay with that, like not FOMO, like you're giving up other people to work with. It's actually talking to that ideal client and calling them in, getting really, really clear, really, really open in your messaging so that you actually speak to them like you're having a conversation with them. That's what's going to resonate. But then it becomes a matter of then what do you have to surround yourself with? The people, the systems, your processes, all of, aligned and marketing sales strategies based on all of this and how you serve your clients, and then where you need to spend your time. So if you build out courses and then group programs and then one-on-ones, of course, naturally, you're not going to spend as much time in your group. You're going to spend more with the one-on-one. But are you still micromanaging your team? Are you still diving in at 10 o'clock at night and setting up systems? Are you still sitting there and setting up email workflows and things like that on your weekends and not giving up some of those things, not being able to step into your true CEO power, delegate, and lead? Because part of your new role and where you spend your time not only is serving who you want to serve, but it looks different. You also need to step into leadership in your business, leadership in your team, setting your team up for success, embodying that person, right? The more you're holding on to the little things, there's energetics, there's all kinds of things that are preventing you from letting go of that stuff. And most often, other people can see this easier than you can.
Yeah, which is why people hire people like you and I, really, because again, you know what you're doing in your business, but I mean, and same thing, like I hired you, right? Because I knew this stuff, but I couldn't see it because I was in my own business. Like I was in my own way. And even though I had I had a background that was very conducive to the work that you do, and I could go into someone else's business and tell them the same things that you would have told me, I couldn't see it for myself. And that doesn't mean that I'm not a failure, I'm not successful, right? It just means that I have my own blinders on, right? We
And
don't want
honestly,
to
the less you have to think about that as a CEO, you're actually stepping into your power, acknowledging it that other people can see things that you can't, and your willingness and openness to embrace it and accept it. I kind of like to think of it, when you get like parsley or a chia seed stuck in your teeth and you're sitting there and your friends don't say a thing. And then you have this one friend that's like, hey, hey, go to the bathroom, pull out your mirror, go get that shit out of your teeth, and then then get back to things, right? You're like, oh my God, that is, thank you so much for telling me. No one else was telling me.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of equate it to that. Everyone else can see it. You can't. But until you have that person telling you about it, you can't fix it.
Mm-hmm. Even if you know how to do it, even if it's something you're an expert in, like that's the thing that I think so many people, this is not the purpose of today's live, but because you said this, I want to just mention, so I hear it from so many people. Oh, like, I know, like, that's exactly what I would tell my clients to do, or, I tell my clients to do this, but now I'm like finding myself getting caught up in it. And it's not that it's different from when you're in the beginning stages, because I've heard that from early birds, or like early birds. Yeah, people who are earlier on in their journey too, but like it happens when you're further along, and then it puts you into like massive self-judgment when you're a little further along, because you're like, this shouldn't be happening to me. I should know better because I know these things. And then that's a whole nother thing. So that's a whole nother topic, I think, for us.
That is a whole other topic. But I mean, both you and I have had and embrace, including each other, people that tell us things that we can see super clearly for everyone that we work with. We've had experience. We could see it clear as day for everyone else. But both you and I have opened ourselves up to having other people remind us or say, hey, have you thought about this? Have you noticed this? Like, oh, I should have noticed that. But guess what? You can't, because you're in the middle of it. And that's okay. It's not a reason to judge yourself. It's not a reason to beat yourself up like, why can't I see this? I should know this. No, this is why CEOs of 8, 9, 10-figure businesses have leadership teams. They have people that are looking from the outside in. They have outside mentors and people looking inside to point out what they can't see from the inside.
Yeah, and I want to just, I do want
your power. Mm-hmm.
I just want to interject there too, because I want to make sure that we relate this to everyone, because you're saying like 8, 9-figure business owners, and some of you might be thinking like you're multi-6-figure, right? And you're like, have maybe like 3 to 5 people on your team. And like, that's not me. No, like people making 8 and 9 figures can have 3 to 5 people on their team too. So it's not like that you need a giant leadership team of, the entire C-suite. Like, so I just want to like make sure that we're clarifying. That doesn't mean like the whole leadership team. Like, it might not even mean that. It might mean that you have the right mentors, that you have a fractional, someone like yourself, like a fractional COO or CFO that works, a few hours a month to really just help you with higher level strategy stuff. So I just wanted
the point was
like your whole leadership team. That doesn't mean when you're this way far along and that you need to have a giant company to have that.
No. The point is that those that are to that level are fully in their CEO role. And part of that is acknowledging you can't be in there setting up your website and setting up your CRM and typing it. Your role changes. And so they have embraced that to have, yes, income-wise, they have a leadership team, but most will have outside mentorship, other people looking inside to help them see. So part of your evolution, mid 6, high 6, 7, before you have a full-time leadership team, it's not necessarily about the leadership team, but it's having those and embracing the fact that really embodying being a CEO is having that outside perspective, because you see these people at these levels. That's exactly what they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're not in there doing it all themselves. They're getting the right people around them, including those outside perspectives, because they understand and embrace that they can't see everything themselves. And it's a mental shift. So
It
that's my
is.
point. Mm-hmm.
I totally agree with that. I think, too, what I'm saying though is that even though like you may not have that right now, you may not ever get to that point where you need that full leadership team. So I want to just like, because some people I think may not identify, because a lot of people don't want to have a full leadership team. They don't want to have a C-suite. They don't want to have directors and managers. They want to be, a little boutique firm. And you can do that and still make 8-9 figures a year. Like, people do it. I mean, you can, if you have $100,000 coaching packages, you can do it pretty quickly with very few people on your team. But it is, again, about having the right people in the right places, whether that's your internal leadership team or people that help you to be that stronger leader. Because I know people making 7-8 figures easily, maybe not 9. And that's just because maybe they're just not in my sphere, or I don't know their team, but who they are the CEO and they don't have a bunch of leaders beneath them, but they're still not in there doing those things because they have the right resources in place to do things for them. And they have the right mentors to help lead them and guide them. And like, again, going back to that, like the fractional thing where maybe it's advising and saying, okay, you need this OBM, but that may be all you need in order to manage all those things beneath you. So I just want to relate it to, like, some people don't really identify, I don't think, with that big business model, because that's just not what they want to create, because that's what they stepped away from in their corporate sometimes. So
yeah,
you don't need a team, but you need to step into CEO, whether you have 2 people on your team or 200.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a large team, but it's the right people.
Yeah.
Which, honestly, if you have the right people, it's typically a smaller team.
Exactly. And I think that's also like, that's a whole other thing that we could do too, because when I first started out, I was like, I feel like I kind of like bragged about this even. Like, I have like 8 or 9 people on my team, like, helping me. And I felt like such a like badass bitch because I had this big team. And now I have like 3 people on my team, and I do less work than I did when I had 8 or 9.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a whole nother topic. We're going to get into actually how it feels like everyone else's measure of success is not necessarily accurate or true, or reassessing who you have on your side is a constant thing. And when you really look at it, yeah, you're actually going to free up a whole lot more of your time and do a whole lot less and have a lot less people to coordinate if they're the right people. Yeah, we'll do something on that coming up.
I'm trying to type. I'm trying to like keep note of these things so that we can come back.
Yes, but yeah, those are really the top 3 things that you can do when you're having these feelings. Like, I am successful. Like, I have done all of it, but it just doesn't feel like I'm where I should be, or I haven't built what it was that I thought I was building, or the very reason I started this was flexibility, more time with my friends and family, all of that. And then you're sucked into this business, and it's kind of consuming. And you're like, wait a minute, where did those things that I started this business for go? Because they've never materialized. Now it's a time to reassess those 3 things. And those are 3 things that Lori and I can help you really dig deep, assess why this is happening for you, because it's a multitude of reasons, and really can only be dug out and identified when you look in depth at all of the different pieces. And so that's what Lori and I try to help everyone do, is really figure out the root of what's going on. And that's actually a big part of what we're doing in Bali in November. Yes. If you are interested in kind of connecting back to what it is that you want, what it is that you started out wanting, those dreams, how you want to serve people, really reassessing where you are and what you want in order to get there a whole lot quicker without banging your head against the wall. We actually only had 2 spots left for Bali. It's for female CEOs ready to go to the next level, but not just next level. Have the life and serve the people they want to serve at the same time and accelerate their income and accelerate their growth all at the same time. But it's really about regaining that work-life flow, regaining and actually getting what it is you set out to have. So we actually have only 2 spots left. They have gone that quickly. We just launched, a month and a half ago, if that. So they have gone really, really quickly. So if you are interested in that, we are going to help you dive deep, assess what you have going on, really revisit what it is you want to have, and actually help you put together a plan to move forward with that. You're going to come out of that retreat as a new woman.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, I'm so excited. I can't wait. Okay. So yeah, everything that you said. And if you are interested in that, just send us a message. And, if you don't want to go to Bali, but you still want our support, that's also, we do things other than Bali. So just let us know, reach out. Happy to go deeper into these conversations with you. And I just want to quickly recap. So the 3 things, right? First of all, assess your clients, your relationships, your rates, which I didn't even go into. Again, that's a whole nother one. Like, are you getting what you want from that relationship in all aspects? Is it sucking your energy? Are you working with the right people? Getting really, really clear on those clients. And then getting clear on how you're spending your time. Asking yourself, what can you change? Where should you be freeing yourself up? What are you doing that you shouldn't be doing? And then this goes hand in hand with that. So I don't really know chicken or egg, but reassessing your structure, your team, is it aligned for where you are right now? Is it supportive for where you are right now? And continually doing these things and there's a 4th thing, getting the support that you need to really help you to do these things efficiently, effectively, with less time, less effort, and so that you can, again, enjoy your life, as you were saying, enjoy the money that you're making, enjoy the success, have more of it without sacrificing the thing you set out to create in the first place, which is the amazing life, the flexibility, the freedom, etc. So reach out to us if any of that resonates with you, or if you want to join us in Bali.
Well, thank you, everyone. We'll see you next time. We've got 2 more great episodes coming up in August, so stay tuned.
We have one more in July. What are you talking about?
Oh, one more. I'm sorry.
Like, wait, did you just cancel on me and you didn't tell me?
No, I just
next one is going to be really, really cool and special for us.
We are actually, should I spoil it?
Yeah, I might have said something on the last one anyway, so I don't know.
Okay. We'll spoil it. We're actually going to be in person together, coming live to you. So it's going to be super, super
exciting. I've literally never done it in 5 years in my business. I've never gone live with someone else in person.
It's
so
fun.
I'm super excited. It's
fun. I'm very, very excited. So.
And it's the first time that we are meeting in person ever. So you guys will get to see it. Well, I mean, we'll probably meet before we actually go live, but you'll get to see us meeting live in person on next episode, which is the 22nd at 10 a.m.
Yep.
Right?
I think so. 10 or 11 a.m.
10 or 11 a.m. Look at the invite. Just mark the whole time on your calendar. Here we go.
Mark off the whole morning.
But we'll see.
Awesome.
We'll see you then, whenever that then is, on the 22nd.
Perfect. All right. Thanks, guys, for joining us, and we will see you next